United States Heavyweight Champion, Tully Blanchard, and his perfect 10, Baby Doll.
You know, David Crockett, the only thing I do in life is get dressed quick.
Yep.
You know, I tell you what, Rocky King may someday be a great, great professional wrestler. Today, he's not quite there. You just saw the United States Heavyweight Champion take him apart. But I tell you what, getting back to what we're talking about, the match before mine, Magnum TA, what you did is typical and expected of the former United States Heavyweight Champion. Hey, nobody pulled your string. You just stand there and hold the microphone. Magnum TA interfering in somebody else's match is the same thing that you and Dusty Rhodes have been doing for a long, long time. You like it. You want matches with no rules. Anything that favors you guys. Well, that's fine. Because I tell you what, the Andersons and myself are ready for any kind of action. Any kind. Whether it be bunkhouse, Texas tornado, Texas death, anything you want to do. Because we can get down and be dirty with the dirtiest of them all. But we can also be, as clean as they come. And you notice it, Baby Doll. Little cleavage today, baby. Little bit. Too much. Sit in your seats there. Don't let your husbands run wild. You keep your eyes off of her, too. Magnum TA, Dusty Rhodes, if you want to be the United States Heavyweight Champion, I'm not hard to find. I'm in the phone book, Jackson Brown. Come and see me.
We'll see you next week on the best in professional wrestling, worldwide wrestling.
We had, say what? A whole lot of superstars on this stage here tonight. But I want y'all to know one thing. This is my house. And when I say who's
word attack skills and vocabulary too. Cover hits in this edition is all brand new. You're through. I'm interplanetary like Doctor Who. So who?
Fuck your beef, no relief. I step on stage, girls scream like I'm Keith.
Go. Yo, what's up, everybody? We are back in the building. Ringtime Pro Wrestling, broadcasting live, if you want to say that for all intents and purposes. We live, and you will hear us because we are alive. I don't even know if I'm making sense. Anyway, Keisha in the building. Keisha, say hi to the people.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? How's everybody doing? Sorry if I sound a little out of it. I've been exhausted all week. Everything's starting to catch up. It's an off day. You know how that goes. So, it is.
Crazy day in wrestling, Keish. We came to you today, and we are still going to preview the Elimination Chamber, but an announcement dropped today that made wrestling a whole lot more interesting, especially on Wednesday nights. We will go into it. I will give you my thoughts. Keisha will give you her thoughts. And we will tell you where everything's going to go. What I may say may be contrary to what you may hear on a lot of other podcasts and a lot of other stations. Now, give it this. I've had the benefit of like 6 hours for everything to digest. Everybody else may have recorded hot and on fire as soon as they heard the news. But I had to sit through a boring day of work and had to cue together the notes for the show. And I read a few articles. I used my marketing education from the fine J. Mac Robinson School of Business at Georgia State University. And came up with some things that I will lay on you or how I feel about today's events. With that being said, welcome to Ringtime Pro Wrestling. We are available a variety of ways. We come to you via Podomatic, which we may or may not stop using Podomatic in the near future. I know we went away from Podomatic before in the past. It came back. That's still kind of up in the air. We're on iTunes. Type in Ringtime Pro Wrestling. Now, when you get there, you're going to see 3 pictures of us. Right? One Ringtime Pro Wrestling podcast is the Podomatic feed. That's up to date. There's the one that's Blog Talk Radio. That one is probably not up to date. It has about 150 archive shows. I still encourage you to download and listen. You can see how far we've came. Keish, I listened to some early episodes. Terrible Terrible, terrible, terrible. But it shows growth. Like I'm glad I wasn't. Like I feel like I'm glad I have a better show now than I did 3 years ago. Right?
What?
Because if I didn't have a better show now than I did 3 years ago, I would obviously be doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So
there's always had to be some level of progression. So.
And I mean, production values have increased tremendously, right?
Right.
Because if you've seen the setup, honestly, when we first started the show, we didn't even know how we was getting the show distributed, right? Like we knew how other podcasts came to you, but we didn't know how to get there. Like we didn't even know how to get on iTunes. We just knew we was getting there. We knew we was going to use Blog Talk Radio, but we didn't necessarily know how it was going to record. And like I had to go to Skype and buy minutes. It got crazy. And I think that's when we was using a free subscription, and then we went ahead and then we started paying. Yada, yada, yada. Fast forward. We understand the podcast game a lot better now. That being said, we are on Stitcher Radio. There's 2 feeds on Stitcher Radio. We keep them both pretty up to date. We're on TuneIn Radio. We are on YouTube. And a lot of you guys are starting to use the YouTube as a source. I appreciate that. SoundCloud. We need to update SoundCloud a little more. I thought that was automatically updating via Spreaker, but it's not. But I will take care of that. We are on Spreaker, which has developed into like the primary source for the show. And I think they're going to be a good broadcast partner. They're going to give us the ability to go live. There's just some things I have to tweak on the technical end for us to go live, and that will be happening in the near future. But yeah, like I said, we come at you about 8 different ways. We're on every social media platform: Tumblr, StumbleUpon, Pinterest, Facebook. The Facebook page is growing every day. I appreciate everybody who's liked the Facebook page. Twitter at Ringtime Podcast. So yeah, just keep liking, keep sharing, and keep us up, man. I appreciate everybody who's been along for the movement. Like, it is really a solid thing that we got going on here. With that being said, we do this. We have a partner that helps us out a little bit. We want to help them out. So check out audibletrial.com/Ringtime Pro Wrestling. If you're not familiar with Audible, they are a audiobook service. As opposed to back in the day, remember the whole books on tape? Then they went to books on CD. Well, now we have caught up to the 2015 where we have books digitally available. A lot of them are read to you by the authors. There are some authors that have 2 books on there that they have read themselves. Mark Maron has a book on there. Aisha Tyler has a book on there. Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In, which is a very popular book right now. Check them out. Fantasy books, sci-fi, whatever you into. Finance, foreign language, whatever you're trying to get into is available on Audible. So on us, we give you a free download, with a 30-day free trial. So 30 days, you got 30 days to say, I don't like this, and it doesn't cost you anything. And the download you get to keep, right? Like it's yours for life. And you download it, you can listen, have a good time with it. So www.audibletrial.com/Ringtime Pro Wrestling. We had a link on the show. It's in the show notes. There's links on the website, so check it out. Other than that, also you can go to our Amazon page. Basically, on the website, if you go to ringtimeprowrestling.com, if you click where it says Amazon.com, or if you click any of the Amazon links to any of our articles, it takes you directly to Amazon. It's not no special kind of Amazon. It's just Amazon.com. And whatever you were going to order from Amazon, whether it was book, T-shirts, CDs, if you still listen to CDs, DVDs, if you still watch those, because everything's digital now. You want to order a computer, whatever you were going to do, you can do that, and we get a little bit of kickback. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it still helps the show. And with that, Keith, let's get into this wrestling, because it's been an interesting week. Raw is pretty much all about setting up for Elimination Chamber. I think we got an okay pay-per-view coming together for a throwaway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would we say a throwaway? I'm going to say, like, it's just kind of a marketing ploy, pay-per-view. Like, the idea of it is, look, we're going to run this pay-per-view. We just do it together. Like, they didn't know before May they was doing Elimination Chamber. To the point of, they had a live event scheduled for Sunday night in Greenville, South Carolina. They had to be rescheduled. Like, they had a live event and sold tickets and everything.
Right.
Mind you, Greenville, one of those towns where, like, they depend on this live event. They not going to really get a Raw, you know what I mean? So, they, like, hey, what's up? But I'm sure they're going to reschedule it. They're probably going to throw in some free tickets, and life will be good. But, yeah, they threw out Elimination Chamber, because what basically is going to happen, they want to try to get as many sign-ups towards the end of the month, at the end of the trial period. I don't think June is going to be free. So June 1st is the Austin podcast with Paul Heyman, right? So the idea is that you're going to try to hold on or try to see, hopefully you'll try to renew for the next day.
Right.
Or you just forget. You sign up for the free trial, you got to put your credit card in, and hopefully you forget. Hopefully you forget to cancel. And boom, I got you on the hook June 1st, $9.99.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think that's the idea behind it. So, with that being said, they've put together this pay-per-view. The Authority opens up the show in force, and they got a contract for Dean Ambrose. He just got to sign it, but it's very weird how they set up the opening of the show. And, of course, Dean came down there and was, he wasn't scared. And he had backup because Roman Reigns showed up. And then Stephanie books him in a tag match because that was her big threat. Keisha, they're not intimidated. They just go fight you 5-on-2. The tag match is not really a big threat for them.
No, not at all. I absolutely agree.
But I get it. They just tried to open the show with a bang.
Right.
Give you the main event a little early.
And it was just kind of,
It was a decent match.
Yeah, it really too.
I thought they came out okay. Yeah, I thought both of them came out okay. I'll tell you one thing I really liked. I liked the Kevin Owens video package that came after that. They really hyping him facing Cena, and I mean, I guess he's gonna be his run on in NXT is gonna be a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Than and I don't know if it's gonna be shorter or if it's to get more eyes towards NXT. Like he's gonna be the showcase guy that comes over to the big shows, but gets more eyes over to NXT. Like I can't give you which one, how that necessarily takes place.
Right.
But good video package. So Rusev is done with Russia.
Yeah, it seems so. The flags, the wear, all that.
Yeah. Now he's Bulgarian all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm not really.
Well, Lana's with Dolph now. Rusev tried to get her back and it didn't work. Yeah, we went through that rigmarole.
It was so ridiculous. Like, he's in the ring, he sounds like he's begging and all that, and then next thing you know, he says, I wouldn't call the things that he said to be sweet. I mean, it was kind of like, is he trying to woo her, or is he just being an asshole? Like, I couldn't tell. So, the next thing I know, he's like, yeah, just tell everybody that you're wrong. What? Come on, bro. Like, is this really how it goes? I don't understand. I was done with it. It was such a skeptical. Like, I was like, really? is this how we gonna portray Rusev right now? I guess I said, this is so ridiculous. But it plays into his entire personality, like the way that they have him set up, like it plays into his entire persona of Rusev. So I understood it. I mean, it was crazy that Mama, she comes down and she's just kind of like, can I help you? Like, what do you want? So it was a really crazy scene all in itself. And of course, at the end, Dolph comes down to the ring and whatnot. And, well, we can see where this is going to go. Eventually, it just leads into matches between Dolph and Rusev. And, or either that, or he just keeps coming out and attacking him, like randomly attacking him.
Really, I think the idea is to keep a clean break for Rusev. Like, this is now Rusev's time to go on his own, right?
Right.
Like, it's no more gimmick for that. You know what I mean? Now it's just Rusev is just a big bad man. And can he stand on his own as a big bad man?
Right.
This Elimination Chamber is supposed to be the first step in him being that way. Spoiler alert, not sure if he's going to be in Elimination Chamber. Word on the street and on the dirt sheets, there's a picture of Rusev in a wheelchair with a boot on his ankle. The dirt sheets are saying that he hurt himself at SmackDown taping.
Oh, wow.
Now, not sure how that happens. You have to watch Thursday night to see. You may not even see it. But that is what's being said. So he may be out of the chamber. Ideally, I would like him in the chamber because if he won the IC title, that could spin off into a feud with somebody. Maybe even Dolph, even though, like, I would try to move Dolph away from him till later. And there's no need to keep doing the Lana thing unless you just want to kill that storyline early. If you want to kill the storyline early, you can. But I think it's time for both of them to excel on their own. Like, what does Lana bring on her own, and what does Rusev bring on his own, and, you know, see how that works out. Also, I don't think Tamina looked pretty good Monday night. When I say that, she did okay, but her match, I think the match against Paige didn't do anything for her.
Right. I agree. And I thought I was the only one that saw it. Right.
No, coming out of this feud, she's going to get the short end of the stick. Because it's Paige, Naomi, and Nikki. And Tamina's just like a side piece in this.
Right.
Like, she's Brie Bella. And I don't know if that does anything for her career going forward.
It really doesn't until she breaks away from Naomi and she starts to be her own wrestler again. Like, right now, that's pretty much where her attachment is. Like, we all know who Tamina is, but her coming back, she's now just Naomi's sidekick. Like, it's funny because she seems more like her bodyguard almost, but not really. And then she's just kind of on the sidelines until she is put into these matches. But it's kind of like the matches just it don't make her really look strong. Like, the match she had with Paige Monday night really didn't make her look as if she could handle things on her own. It was crazy because I thought I was the only one that really seen that she was kind of struggling. Like, it really got to me because I was just kind of like, wow, you know? And
she's always been cast as somebody's goon, almost.
Right.
Well, not somebody's goon, but just side accessory. Like, when she first breaks in with the Usos, right?
Right.
And she attacks Natty, yada, yada, yada. Usos attack the Hearts. All right, great. Now, they never really explore that after that, right?
Right.
Like, they never capitalize on that. And she fades away. Then when she comes back, she's like a goon for Vicky Guerrero. Then she's AJ's muscle. You know what I mean?
Right.
She gets injured. She takes time out. She comes back now, and she's the muscle for Naomi.
And that's always been her role. But she's just never been, like, just Tamina. Like, that hasn't happened. Like, she's just never been, you know, I'm Tamina, it's me, I'm on my own. Like, that's, she's always been attached to something or someone. And I don't understand how she could build anything from that, you know? Like, is that really just the whole reason for her being there, or are they going to try and do something different? You know, I always thought that, well, when she came back and she was helping Naomi, like, I didn't really seen it coming. It was, oh, so now she's going to be running around with Naomi. And that's exactly what happened. She dresses in all black, and it's kind of like, yeah, I'm here just to do what she wants me to do. I'm like, so are you like her bodyguard? Like, what are you to her? It's really ridiculous, because if Tamina wanted like her own solo career, it just seems like it's just never going to happen for her. Like, they're always going to attach her to something or someone to make her presence felt.
Right.
And that's crazy to me.
No, I agree. All in all, I think everybody had a good Raw. Bo Dallas is annoying, but I think he has a chance to come back and make something of his career.
Right.
He's going against Neville, who's on a roll. Even though I would like to see Neville in that chamber match for the IC title.
Yes.
He's on a roll, and I guess if you're not going to have him win that match, it's better for him to come out of that pay-per-view with a win and have a good match with Bo Dallas than put him in a chamber match and not win it, and then, have a stain on him that he lost to somebody or taking one for Barrett or, I don't know, right?
Right.
So that's that. Dean has some trouble with the law. I thought that skit worked out kind of interesting. I liked that he made it back to Raw in time to get the contract signed and to scare the authority. I don't think he wins at Elimination Chamber, but I like the presentation. I like the idea that he has a shot. I like the idea that Roman Reigns will be there to help him.
Right. I just
it's not in the chamber, so that is a freelance for, more people to get involved. Like Rollins don't have to. He does. J&J Security can get involved. Kane can get involved. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that layer of the cage isn't there. So now it's like, how does Ambrose overcome? But he does have his homeboy. Now, rumor mills and the Swerve say maybe Roman turns heel. I seriously doubt that happens.
Yeah.
I think too much is invested in him as a babyface.
Right.
That being said, WWE has done stranger things, but I think too much is invested in him as a babyface, and he's going to be the next Rogue up for Seth. Like, I think as we will towards SummerSlam, they're going to bring him back towards the angle with Brock Lesnar. So we're going to be left going towards SummerSlam. It might be a rematch of the WrestleMania where we bring back the triple threat, where it's Roman, Brock, and Seth, and everybody's facing each other. So I don't necessarily know it's that. I don't know if they're going to make some dissension in the authority also. Like, a lot of things are going to be interesting as we roll over the next few months. Other than that, any thoughts that you had from Monday or... Hello?
Is
there any thoughts you had from Monday?
Monday was just... The show was just... I don't know. I guess, in a sense, it really didn't do anything as far as setting up for Elimination Chamber. Like, all I know is the whole thing with Dean and Seth, it was fine, but everything else, it really just didn't do anything for me. You know, I guess because I always, even with throwaway pay-per-views, I always expect a certain level of something when it comes to the Raw beforehand.
You want that go-home feeling. You want that, like...
Exactly.
That one last-ditch effort, like, you gotta buy this.
And I didn't really get that Monday. You know, to tell the truth, even trying to sell the whole championship match was kind of like, it was just really, it really looked just more so of like, oh, so we tried to get Dean to stop the signed contract. Okay, but how is this helping in trying to get the pay-per-view? You know, trying to get the pay-per-view sold to everybody that isn't really too interested in watching it as is. Like, I felt like let's say I didn't have the network. Trust me, after watching Raw Monday, I still wouldn't want it. Like, I probably wouldn't even think about watching Elimination Chamber. And I think there's only certain things that makes it, for the curious person, yes. Especially when it comes to, like, the New Day segment, where they end up having a match with all of the contestants of the Chamber, and that stuff like the triple threat match with the Divas title, and yeah, it raises questions of curiosity of who's going to win, but it really didn't say, like, yeah, get this, watch this. If you don't have the network, get it, Elimination Chamber. It wasn't, I didn't feel that. So, I mean, I didn't. It was a good Raw. I give it that. The matches were good. Some of the segments were awesome. It was a good Raw. But it's just, it really made me almost forget that there was a pay-per-view. Until, of course, they show, like, little highlights here and there, who's going to be in what match and all that kind of stuff. I am looking forward to the outcome of Elimination Chamber, but of course I'll get to that when we actually talk about it. So, yeah, it was interesting, but it was what it was. I think that's the best way I can describe it.
Well, with that being said, everybody, we're going to hit the break. We're going to come back with our birthdays, the big news for the day, which is probably going to take up a bulk of the show. And then we will run down the card for Elimination Chamber. So, stay strapped, stay tuned, and we'll be back after these messages.
I vividly recall the signing of the contract for your title shot at Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania 3. You said you taught Hogan a lot, but you had still one more lesson to give him in the final chapter in that big title match at the Silverdome in Pontiac on the 29th.
You want to talk to somebody? You talk to me. He's going to do all his talking in the ring. You talk to me. You want to talk about the final chapter? I'll be glad to talk about the final chapter. The final chapter in the life and history and the career of Hulk Hogan. See, because it's over, Hogan. I know it, you know it, everybody knows it. You had 3 good years, you can't laugh at that. You were lucky, you made some money, you got a cartoon, you got some dolls, you rode good, you had it good. But you know you can't beat this man. Toughest man in the world, nobody can beat this man. You think with all that blonde hair and a bunch of little Hulksters out there and behind you, you ripping that t-shirt off and shaking in your pythons, you think you can beat him, dummy? It can't be done by you, 10 guys like you, or 100 people like you. This is the next heavyweight champion of the world. Get ready to swallow it, Hogan. It's all over.
Andre, what about that final lesson?
You don't understand, do you, dummy? I do the talking.
I'll conduct these interviews here if you don't mind.
Oh, maybe I will conduct them. How do you like that?
Everybody, the second half of the show is here, and our favorite part is the birthday segments. Today is Wednesday, May 27th. Two big birthdays, Keish, that take place today. It's actually a big, huge birthday, like next 4 days. But we'll roll it with today. Eric Bischoff, former WCW president, former WWE talent, former TNA producer, former AWA announcer. I would like to try something else that don't have former in it, as you'll also say, but Eric Bischoff celebrates a birthday today.
Right.
Easy E turns 60. No typo. Born in 1955. Easy E turns 60 today.
Cool.
Eric Bischoff. The mastermind of the NWO turns 60. Natalia Neidhart, turns 33 today. So if you're on the Twitter, hit her at Natty by Nature and tell her happy birthday. Tomorrow, May 28th, James Sugar Bear Harris, you know him as the Ugandan giant Kamala, celebrates a birthday. Kamala turns 65 tomorrow. Jeremy Borash of TNA fame, big time announcer there, is turning 41. Seth Rollins, current WWE champion, tomorrow. Big Seth will be 29. Young man there, still got a bright future ahead of him.
You're older than me.
Yeah. May 29th, which will be Friday.
Yes.
Fat Ass Pete Gas, so the Mean Street Posse, will be turning 45. The Brian Kendrick will be turning 36 on Friday. Hornswoggle turns 29 on Friday, on May 29th. He turns 29. May 29th also is a special day in birthdays. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the young, dashing 35th President of the United States, has that birthday. Our father, Keith Holt Sr., and our uncle, Kenneth Holt, our favorite set of twins, also will be celebrating their 55th birthday on that wonderful day, Friday. So shout out to them. Hopefully Uncle King will be in town on Friday night. And,
I'm not even.
Hopefully there's not too much trouble that arises from that situation.
Exactly. I'll be at work. I'm not even. I'll be nowhere near that, so.
Yeah, but as we roll into Saturday, May 30th, Jake the Snake Roberts will be celebrating his 60th birthday. So, heavy week in the birthday rotation in professional wrestling. Covers a few generations. We cover announcers, we cover executives, we cover divas, we cover, and then everything. Attitude Era, 80s Classic Era, current champions. We got it all this week in wrestling birthdays. Now to the news, Keish. I'm going to start small and work my way up big.
Yeah, best thing to do.
All right, small news. Hulk Hogan is in talks of possibly playing the villain in Expenables 4.
You're making another one of those?
They keep making money. Keish, you got to understand. It's just like they're going to make a Fast and Furious 8.
Yeah, I know.
They don't call it Furious Fast 8. They just switch the words around.
I'm not too big about that either. But I'm just saying. Like,
Furious 8. 8 and Fast. There's going to be something. But they're going to make another one. You know why? Because they made $1 billion on the last one.
Oh, of course.
Same thing with Expendables. Like, it's not even a matter of fact, was it a good movie? They just look at the receipts. They like, hey, man, that means we got to make another one. That's all the studios see.
Yeah, that's it.
So, hey, man, you get mad. You need to stand at the movie theater and start yelling at people who are going in to buy the ticket.
They won't stop them going to see it. And if they already paid the ticket, it don't even matter.
It's a very simplistic, straightforward format, Keish. They have put in every major action star that's ever existed since 1974.
Yeah.
They throw them all in a movie pot of gumbo, and they blow stuff up. And as a person who likes to see stuff blown up on a movie screen, I can tell you that like, it's funny, like, the movie doesn't even take itself seriously. Like, it knows what it is. They throw in a few jokes, and they start shooting and blowing people up. And it's a good time. And to quote my father, if somebody ain't dying in the first 5 minutes, I really ain't that interested. So, I mean, that the Expenables is made for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I'm telling you, they're going to do it. Hogan is a natural fit. Hogan is 80s nostalgia at his finest. He'll play a villain who will stay opposite of the leader of the Expenables, Sylvester Stallone. If you recall, 1983, Rocky III. Rocky stood in the ring at a charity wrestling event against Thunderlips Patterson, I think his last name was. May not have been Patterson. I may be making up the Patterson part. But I remember Thunderlips, and he was the world champ. And that was Hulk Hogan. And so we will revisit that moment. We'll have a look. We might get a Thunderlips joke in there somewhere, and stuff will start blowing up. So, yeah, that could be happening. No official word yet, though. I mean, that's just in the pike. The dirt sheet out there, I read this on Diva Dirt yesterday, and it was confirmed by a lot of other sites. PWI Insider, I think, was the first one to report it. Christy Hemme is leaving TNA. At least allegedly. Allegedly is leaving TNA. I want to put that allegedly out there, because if she's not, and TNA getting frustrated with people and they threatening to sue folks, and so let me say allegedly. So if I have to go to court, I can play this. It said allegedly. So allegedly she's taking a job outside of the world of professional wrestling, and it prompted me to write an article speculating this TNA falling apart. Are rats jumping off a sinking ship, Keish? Like, could this be a big problem for TNA? And people are like, well, what, Christy Hemme? I mean, she's just an announcer. Right. Exactly. Long-time talent. This is her 9th year with the company. She started out as a wrestler. Injury forced her out of the ring. She's not just an announcer. She's been working on the creative team. Now, the way Billy Corgan explains it, it's more like an apprenticeship. She's been working her way up, learning things. She ain't really just been booking matches or nothing, but she's been more of a liaison between the divas or the knockouts and the creative team, and voices their concerns to the creative team, and helps the creative team, talk to them, yada, yada, yada. So, very important role there. And she said she bouncing. Right. Now, it says a wonderful opportunity outside of the wrestling business. Don't know what that is. Remains to be seen. But in a place where the checks were slow, you know what I mean? That, I don't know. Where the smoke there's fire. Long time people leaving says something might be wrong. Samoa Joe, TNA, one of the old school guys, one of the people who carried the banner for so long, gone. Right. Gone. AJ Styles left last year. That was your John Cena. You know what I mean? Well, it should have been. He should have been your John Cena, but you didn't know how to take care of him. In the ring or outside the ring. Jeff Jarrett, founder of the company, gone. Taz, when Taz left a few months ago, it was kind of like, oh, wow, this ain't right. You know what I mean? Taz left to go podcast. So, exactly. Now he does have a top tier podcast on iTunes, but this shit ain't that lucrative. So, I can tell you that, maybe something else is, pulling at him. And he's seen the movie before. He worked at a company where the checks weren't quite right, and things start going left. There was rumors of the TV partner coming back. So, could there be some, fire where there's smoke, right? Well, that leads me into the biggest announcement of today, and maybe the biggest announcement of 2015 in professional wrestling so far.
Right.
Ring of Honor has signed with Destination of America, of all places. Destination of America will air Ring of Honor wrestling programming on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock. It will be the lead-in program to TNA Impact Wrestling. Keish, your initial thoughts on this bombshell that dropped today?
Oh, man. Shock. I mean, if you really want me to be technical, shock. Like, I'm so in awe right now. I haven't changed my initial thoughts since hearing it. I can't even lie to you. Like, I'm really just in shock. Surprised even. Because who seen this coming, Keith? Like, who?
Nobody.
Tell me.
Nobody.
Who saw this coming?
Especially not Dave Meltzer. You know what I mean? Who, hey man, tell you that street cred getting in trouble. But here's the thing. There have been talks of Ring of Honor talking to national networks about putting a show on a national platform. Now, this is the way I understand the deal. Sinclair Broadcasting still has their show, and they will put it out on the Sinclair networks. So if you don't get Destination America, but you were getting Ring of Honor, you still will get Ring of Honor, right? Now, if you happen to have Destination America, great for you. Because now you ain't getting Ring of Honor at some awkward time.
Exactly.
And you're not getting it at an awkward time. You're getting on Wednesday night in a central place. And you get to see it. Now, also, I think, and this is to be noted, people were saying Ring of Honor was to talk to Spike. So when we thought they was talking to Spike, they was really talking to Destination America.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, excuse me. Had to pause it both times.
And now they have, now this is happening. Like, it just makes me wonder what is going to be the future for TNA. Because are they going to, I know they're going to be running both programs, but it's kind of like, we might not be here long. You know, like, I don't really know.
Initial thoughts. My initial speculation was like, wow, this could be bad. Right?
Yeah.
Initially. Maybe. Because here's one thing I know. That means Destination America wants to be in the wrestling business. Like, because the way it was sold with the problems with TNA was like, maybe they thought maybe this isn't the best thing for their core audience. Right?
Right.
They're doubling down on the wrestling product, which means Destination America may be changing its format, and maybe because the ratings spike of a TNA has showed them, hey, maybe if we go in this direction, this might be the better thing for our programming. Right. Or the people at Discovery are saying that. And the people at Destination America might not like it, but you got to keep your job. And the people at Discovery call the shots. And people at Discovery like, shoot, we could have this alternative sports theme and really drive some ratings. Because TNA probably has bringing up its highest rating, right?
Right.
Now, if they have another program similar to TNA, then what they can book with advertisers is saying, hey, now we got something else we can book you with. Where it's kind of like, they can go after different advertisers, basically. Like, since the advertisers that were advertising doing the barbecue shows and stuff like that, maybe wasn't feeling the wrestling idea. Cool. Well, we could go to another advertiser and say, hey, we got these two shows that draw X amount of people, and what can we do with it, right? What smells death for TNA? This is going to work out really good for TNA or really bad. That's how I see it. Like, I'm going to give you the negative if that it's two wrestling programs on the same network, right? I don't know if that's ever been done before, simultaneously. That being said, here's the positives. They're two different programs. But because they have this broadcast partner in common now, and they've had a working relationship in the past. It blew up in about 2005 because of the Rob Feinstein incident, but Rob Feinstein is no longer part of Ring of Honor. If you want to look up the Feinstein incident, you can. It pretty much, Rob, who is a guy I associate with on Facebook, to be fair, and he seems nice and normal now, but 10 years ago he was caught into a catch-a-predator situation.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Gabe Sapolsky were co-founders of Ring of Honor at that time. Now, fast forward 10 years later, him and Gabe are both no longer a part of the company. You know, Gabe didn't have nothing to do with this anyway. Gabe was running Dragon Gate, having a good time, living life. TNA being a fledgling company, Pan Energy had just got involved. They didn't want that associated with their brand. So they stopped the talent exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you remember around this time, that's how CM Punk was ended up in TNA doing TNA stuff, because he was with ROH at the time. Eventually, TNA acquired Samoa Joe from there.
Yep.
But there was no more back and forth, right?
No, not at all.
Now, with Destination America, there will be there could be some back and forth. I think they need to co-promote. For Survival, you're number 2 and you're number 3, right? For Survival, against number 1, y'all work together. I think they could do events. I think they could do every 3 to 4 months do a pay-per-view together. Each one still having their individual branded pay-per-views, but maybe once every 4 months, 5 months, do a joint venture.
Yep.
And then once a year, I would say near WrestleMania, I would do an extravaganza that would pull in big buy rates. Might not even be around WrestleMania. I might keep it away from WrestleMania. I might do it in the wintertime. I might try to figure out a time where WWE has its weakest pay-per-view buy rates and put my event there. This is my big event. Super Clash. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I got them all. Also, honestly, Keisha, I don't understand. This is what I would do. I would get Dixie with people ROH. I'd call Daddy Jeff, Mr. Jarrett at Global Force. I'd call AAA. I'd get on the phone to New Japan and say, look, once a year, let's do a mega event.
Right.
U.S. soil, find a big venue, blow it out. I think individually they can't put together a big card and sell out a 70,000 seat arena, but collectively, I think they can. And I think the talent base, when you see the talent on the name of the show and see the matches and how they set up, people will flock to it, especially the diehards. And the diehards will pay because the diehards want to see this show. So we'll pay the pay-per-view. Make sure the pay-per-view is not something extreme, because the WWE that messed up the pay-per-view model. But $35 for $35, 45 in HD, you can see WrestlePalooza. You know what I mean? Night WrestleMania, Super Bowl of wrestling. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? And throw it out there, battle of the mega stars, and pull it all out. And I think you'll generate enough revenue where you'll be able to keep some of your top tier stars, each company, and build upon that.
Right.
But digressing with just TNA and ROH, I'll say this too. Because somebody was like, well, can 2 programs exist on the same night? Yes.
Yeah.
ROH only was a 1-hour program, right?
Right. Right.
Keish, as a wrestling fan, I watch your ROH. I'm in wrestling mode. It's Wednesday night.
Yeah. Oh,
now,
true.
TNA coming on.
Right.
I'm not turning. More wrestling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they've set the plate for you, but they gave you something different. This is where WWF fails. it's a 3-hour block of wrestling, but it's the same shit. I gotta watch the same people come out in the first 20 minutes of the first segment. Then I have to see them again somewhere in the middle of the show. Then I gotta see the same 3 or 4 people at the end of the show talking about the same stuff they was talking about the first 20 minutes of the show 3 hours ago.
Right.
In between a bunch of commercials about TV dramas that I don't care about. Right? So, now, for the first hour, if I watch a set of performers in a program that primarily boasts themselves on wrestling and bell-to-bell action, it gives me really good matches, and then that cuts off. Then they take me to somewhere on another side of the country where a whole nother promotion is producing a whole nother story.
Yeah.
I'm in. Because ROH don't open up with a 20-minute promo talking about what happened this week and what's going to happen there. And then I got to watch the same people open up the show every week talking about the same thing over and over again. Like, can we just get to the match? No, we just get to the match, right?
Right. Exactly.
TNA sometimes are overstoried, but for the most part, still good bell-to-bell action. Now, where this may struggle, Destination America isn't widely available to everybody. But that could change. And if they can get that distribution up a little bit more,
right?
Hey, man, they're going to be looking good. Wednesday night's a nice night. Now, Wednesday night is overloaded with wrestling, too. That 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock time slot also has NXT at 8 o'clock. And at 9 o'clock, you got Lucha Underground, right? On El Rey. Or does Lucha Underground come on at 8 on El Rey? I don't have El Rey, so I don't know. I have to watch it today after. There's no way to really figure out who's going to be winning the ratings war because they're all niche programming on niche networks that everybody doesn't have availability to.
Which is true. That is true.
So,
of course, you can only watch NXT on the networks, and then there's El Rey. And it's funny because if you insert, well, I know I have DirecTV, and if you have El Rey, then you have Destination America because they're all in the same package. And then, you know, all of this is coming on. It's crazy, but it's so much wrestling. It's so much wrestling.
In my cable package, the upper tier away from where I am now, which would cost me more, that's why I don't have it, I would get both of them, I think. I mean, if I go to that next tier, in the package, I would pick up both of them. Right now, it hasn't been an issue for me because I've been able to procure both shows.
Right.
And watch them later. Because we're not in that, like, watch it now kind of thing, I think people are going to just manage their wrestling.
I mean, if you're like me, then you have all of that. Because I have a network and Destination America and El Rey. If you're like me, you're changing channels and you have the network up and you're watching everything at once.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think these 4 programs are all for diehards, right?
Right. Like
this is a casual fan watching, and I think most people who watch these watch probably all 4. You know what I mean? Most people who watch these watch the cross section and know everybody who's everybody. So I think for that purpose, I think they're going to be okay. Social media will play a factor because as something's popping on social media, that's where people are probably going to turn their attention. Now, ROH has a pre-taped show. Right. So, like, because it's still going to air on the Sinclair markets, if I watch that Saturday night, and that's going to be the same show that's on Wednesday, well, good, I can watch NXT. And all this is good during the summer because, I mean, unless I'm at Turner Field, you know what I mean? I'll be here watching wrestling. But in the fall and when basketball comes back, it'll be a little bit more interesting. how it works out. Because Wednesday, what special thing about Wednesday is it's away from football, like altogether.
Right.
Like I think ESPN may run some small college, low level Division I games, but it's not like for the major conferences. So Wednesday is a special night because it's away from football altogether. There's no Monday night football, Thursday night football, or anything to compete with that.
It's perfect for them because there's no other distraction going on.
Yeah. So I do want to see how it all plays out. But I think this could be really good for TNA. And it could give them a shot in the arm because it'll bring fans. ROH has a lot of diehard fans. And they probably would go to the Destination America for TNA. But because they go to the ROH, they go stick around, right?
Right.
Vice versa. There's a lot of people who haven't had the chance because now ROH gets to expand into the West Coast. And I don't think they've never really been on TV out there. Sinclair is primarily an Eastern Seaboard company. So Destination America now brings in California. It brings in, Texas. It brings in, Washington State. Nevada. Right. So those people who are familiar with a lot of the talent because they're familiar with the indies out on the West Coast, and a lot of those guys did wrestle at PWG or in NWA Hollywood or whatever. Now we'll get to see them on ROH television leading into TNA. So the perfect lead-in for a wrestling show is a whole other wrestling show.
Right.
It's something I think people wish they had back in the territory days. As opposed to flipping channels. You know what I mean? Because as a diehard, when I was a kid, that was the life. Like, you got up at 11, I would watch like WCW Worldwide. At 12, flip it over, USA would be running like the WWE show, or they were like a Sunday morning show too.
Right.
And then like on Saturday, I think there was Superstars of Wrestling was on, and you could catch that one. Then at 6 o'clock, at 6:05 TBS, that's when TBS did everything on the 5. 6:05, you had your Saturday Night Wrestling show, TBS. In Detroit, if you were lucky, you got to see World Class, because what you did was you turned to channel 38. Because I could never get on the cable TV, but I used to go upstairs when we lived at Granny's, and I would go to channel 38, and it was flip television. And you had to have the rabbit ears to get Flint TV. It didn't come in that great.
No.
But you got World Class, and then that flipped over to USWA. This was around the time World Class and USWA merged, and it just eventually just became USWA programming. And you start to see Lawler and those guys. Then somewhere after that, I think it was Global Wrestling Federation, not to confuse with Global Force. They would come on the same channel. They end up taking up the time slot. Then you start seeing, matches like the Patriot, the Dark Patriot, but as a head, at 8, I was a fiend, so I would go, I'd run upstairs, I'd run down, whatever I had to do to see some wrestling, I would do it. Fast forward at 36, I'm doing the same thing. I just have technology now, and I don't have to move.
Right.
So the thing is, NXT is on the network, right?
Yeah.
I'll probably watch ROH on the TV and be running the network on the tablet, watching NXT. They got the Twitter up on the, you know what I'm saying, on the iPhone or on the computer. And if something needs an adjustment, I'll just make the change and flip something over or be there, or just catch something the next day. I have an hour lunch break at work, so that hour just may be, hey, Thursday is the hour of catching up on NXT.
Right.
Honestly, that's what I'm doing today. Cause I didn't watch the NXT show tonight because I was, wasn't feeling good or whatever, so it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, but at least you have that option, you know?
Right.
And I think that's always the good thing about all of this, is that you always have that option of just going somewhere and watching it later, especially with, like, NXT, because it's on a network. So once it's shown, it's there. And all you have to do is just go back to an option. Now, with everything else, you probably will have to find an outlet or just a website or YouTube channel or something that somebody has put the show on. But there's always a way.
Don't underestimate the YouTube, Keisha. YouTube has been my friend in his wrestling journey. Like when ROH fell off television, when they lost the HDNet show, and they were in a flux, YouTube kept it going. Also, hell, I didn't have HDNet for a while, so they were very helpful.
Right.
So I appreciate the YouTubers. But like I said, I think really this is a good opportunity for everybody. And I think if you're a wrestling fan, your head got to explode. Like you get an overload. And Wednesday night could be the night. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be Wednesday Night Wars yet.
Right.
I think we're going to be far from that. But I think it's going to be intense. Because everybody who wrestles on Wednesday night is about that wrestler life.
Exactly.
It ain't a bunch of muscle heads. It ain't a bunch of 6'10" jack guys. It is a bunch of dudes who are high intensity, high spots, a lot of speed, a lot going on. So let's see what happens. Not everybody was happy with the announcement.
No.
MVP had put out on Twitter that hey man, TNA Talent wasn't aware or wasn't even notified that ROH was coming to Destination America. But they had a huge conference call today, and they were forced to hold back press appearances. They canceled all the press appearances for Talent for today. And, you know, MVP, his next tweet after the conference call was like, hey, here go my booking information. But we'll see how it all works out.
Yeah.
I think it's an opportunity for them to co-brand and them to be supportive of each other and understand that, like, there's bigger fish to fry in this wrestling business. But that all being said, let's get to what we came here to do, Elimination Chamber. Satan structure. Probably the most evenly devised match since War Games, right? We start off the match with two people in a ring. There are pods around this big cage structure. There's no floor because they put cage where there should be the floor. You know what I mean? And mayhem ensues, right? I think this year is the first year no world title is going to be involved in Elimination Chamber. Or even a match threatening the world title will not be involved in Elimination Chamber. I hate they turned it into a pay-per-view. I liked it better when it was just a standalone match. But I do appreciate the Elimination Chamber. I think HBK won the first ever Elimination Chamber. Triple H, by far, is the star of Elimination Chamber. Being in the most matches, title defenses, winning Elimination Chamber multiple times. That is his thing. So, without further ado, we will break down the card that is Elimination Chamber. Get your thoughts on the demonic structure that is Elimination Chamber.
Okay, so the first time that I saw it, I was like, what the hell is that? Like, I don't know who thought about even making this structure. But man, I tell you what, if I
it might have been Eric Bischoff.
I would never want to even do it. I wouldn't do it. You must be crazy.
It will take years off your career. I will say that.
Yeah.
Years will come off your career. Like I said, I like what they're doing with this one. this might be the most interesting chamber of all, right?
Right.
Let's start. I'm just going to go down with people. This is the card in no particular order, but more than likely, the first match will be a chamber match, and it will be the IC title match. The IC title is vacant because Daniel Bryan is hurt.
That is correct.
Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler versus Ryback versus R-Truth versus King Barrett versus Rusev for the vacant IC title. Now, my early favorite was Rusev, but he may not be in the match. Any idea who you would go with?
Nah. Short answer, no. I have no clue. Like, man, it's such a toss-up, you know?
Yeah, I mean, trust me, they're hard to pick. Here's what I tell you. My process of elimination. I know R-Truth is out.
Right, of course.
I know R-Truth is not winning. Now, Sheamus has been pretty good as a heel. Ryback, they like the tough big guy. But Dolph, I like Dolph off front. King Barrett. The same year you win King of the Ring, you win the IC title again. And you're the king with the IC title.
It would be
think
perfect.
that's a hell of a push.
It would be a perfect setup for him, but I don't see it happen. I don't know if that'll happen. Like, yeah. I don't know.
That's a hell of a push.
Push, though. Yeah, it is. It is.
Like I said, I don't know who goes forward with this. I can see Ryback and Sheamus having a feud over the belt, where maybe Sheamus wins the belt and Ryback chases him forward. Very logical, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just for intents and purposes, I'm going to go King Barrett if Rusev is out, just to make a pick.
Right.
The next match. This is weird, because I thought it was for the U.S. title. But then when I looked it up, they just got it listed as a singles match.
Yeah.
But then I see champion versus champion, and I'm like, so was the NXT title up for line? Who knows? But John Cena will take on Kevin Owens from NXT. Keith, what you got going on that one?
I don't know. Random? I don't know. I can't tell you. I wish I could. I don't know. It's just weird. I want to say. I don't know. I can't book it.
I'm going to say Owens doesn't lose. That's all I got for you.
Yeah,
I don't know how it necessarily plays out, but Owens doesn't lose.
But what if he does? You know, that's the question.
No harm, no foul. He lost to the greatest guy in the company. He lost to the top champion of this generation.
Right.
But I don't think it goes down that way. I think he walks out tall, is what I say. See to be louder. Owens may not win the match. He may get disqualified. But I say Owens walks out of that ring tall.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I said, what happens if you lose? But I guess him losing wouldn't even matter. I mean, it matters, but at the same time, I don't think it'll have an effect on his push.
If he loses in a gutsy performance,
yeah,
that doesn't matter. A guy from developmental took a guy who was the biggest champ of a generation to the limit, right?
Now,
but I don't think that happens like that. I think Owens either wins or he walks out tall one way or the other.
Right. And my question is, if he wins, then what happens with the NXT title? Does he loses it at the next with the next title shot, or does he just give it up, or does he just hold two belts at the same time? That's the question I think I have to ask. I need to know. Where do you go with that? With him having the NXT title? A question. that the masses would love to know. Inquiring minds would want to know. I know I want to know. I definitely want to know. So we'll see. We will see. Definitely.
Right. The next match, Neville versus Bo Dallas. This is pretty easy. I'm going Neville.
Right.
I don't believe.
Hey, man. Why not? I'm just saying.
Why not? I don't know what to do with it. But I will say Neville has been getting a good push lately. He's been on a roll, and there's no need to take him out of that for Bo Dallas. You know what I noticed too? Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt are not booked for this event. So that's interesting. No Roman Reigns, no Bray Wyatt.
We'll see.
Right.
So what's next?
The New Day defends their tag team titles against the Lucha Dragons, Tyson and Cesaro, Primetime Players, the Ascension, and Los Matadors in the first ever tag team elimination chamber.
Okay. I'm guessing they had to rebuild a chamber. I'm guessing they had to build a chamber for this match because, of course, the elimination chamber was set up for single matches. So, is this going to be a bigger and more defined structure for the tag teams, or are they still going to be the same thing, just different? Just match? Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm thinking a little bit too much into it, but I have to wonder, like, because tag teams won't be able to fit into those spaces that's designed for one person. So I'm really wondering, how does this work?
Pretty much, I think the pods, they're going to make them big enough for both people to fit in. And they're going to release one team at a time. Or, you know. I don't know who wins this one.
No.
I guess for two versus, I'm going to say New Day finds a way to slither out of this.
Of course.
Now, they can't get their third man in there, but I think they still figure out a way to get everything accomplished and win this match.
It's the chamber.
Los Matadors are not going to be champs. The Ascension stink. Primetime Players, they just need another tag team to fill in. Lucha Dragons, not going to be champs. So it comes down to Cesaro and Kid again against the New Day, and New Day has already won twice. So I see them trying to figure out a way to win and gutting it out and taking hold of the belts. They'll come with the belts that they brought in. And that'll be it. Nikki Bella, champion, defends against Paige and Naomi in Divas triple threat match. Thoughts?
Oh man, Keith, why are you hitting with these things? I have no thoughts at this point. I really don't. I have no thoughts at this point. I just want to see it happen. Right. I guess that's it for me right now. I just want to see it happen. But I have no thoughts right now. So, for me, for some reason, this pay-per-view is just hard to book. Because I'm struggling. I am struggling. I'll give you that. I'm struggling.
Yeah. I would say this. I don't think Nikki loses her title. I think Nikki finds a way to scrap through this and retains.
Yeah. I mean, she's facing... Okay, I have to honestly say, though, she's facing two very good opponents in this match. I think that Naomi and Paige both have great wrestling skills to me.
Right.
Well, they do a little better more than Naomi, but still. She has two very good opponents. So, like I said, I just want to see it happen. That's where I'm at right now. I just want to see it happen, but man, like, what I have to say Nikki will retain because I really don't see either one of them holding a title right now. And besides, of course, this stuff has to continue, you know? It has to. So how else to make that happen without Nikki having the belt? Because then you don't even, without it, you don't really even need to really associate them with the belts anymore. Because then they'll just be at each other's throats. So, yeah. I agree. She will retain. And things will start to just keep going around a tornado spiral. Awesome.
All right. Last and final match, WWE World Title, Seth Rollins, champ, defends against Dean Ambrose. For me, no-brainer. Seth keeps this belt till SummerSlam.
Right.
Hook or by crook. And it's going to be by crook. I expect him to fully cheat. Dean is a nut. He's the lunatic fringe. He will try a lot of things. He's going to fight through all the help. But I think at the end of the day, he's going to make one misstep and Seth Rollins is going to hit the pedigree.
Right. Well, we both agree that he's not losing that belt until SummerSlam. So, however the hell it happens, he's winning this match.
Right.
You know, not even giving a prediction of like what antics is going to go down with it. It doesn't even matter. He's going out champion. That's all that matters. That's all you need to think about, is the fact that he's not losing that title. That's it. It's going to play to be a good match in itself anyway, because he's facing Dean. But he ain't losing.
Right.
No, with or without the help, he's not losing this match. It's not happening because he's not losing that title. If he loses this match, it's by disqualification, and he still doesn't lose the title. So there you go. There you have it.
Right. Yeah, I think Rollins retains, just like I said. SummerSlam, him and Brock, that's the money to rematch. With that being said, I think that's the coverage for our pay-per-view, and that is it for the Ring Time Pro Wrestling show this week. Keisha, any parting shots or shout-outs?
Man, listen, all I want to do is give a shout-out to my off days, because I am tired. You hear me? Tired. I am tired. So,
okay.
I want to give a shout-out to Taco Mac for making, like, some of the best nachos I've ever had in life, okay? And I want to give a shout-out to all of our fans out there that are listening, continue to download and listen to the show. However you listen to it, it doesn't even matter. We love you for it. Thank you. We do this for you and ourselves because we love wrestling. But you know, of course.
Right.
That's just how life goes. So, and you, Keith, I give a shout-out to you for being the architect behind all of this. Because I'm telling you guys, if it wasn't for him, all this wouldn't be possible. So, I thank you, and I love you, big brother. That's how that
I appreciate that. Love you too, little sister. Thank you for being a wonderful co-host. And I guess that's it. We're going to wrap this thing down. Shout-outs to the WrestleCast. We're the close to the podcast network. Our homies over there. Sam, Don, Greg, they do a good job. Check out They Spin, think of what they think of this recent development. I'm sure they got a new show dropping tomorrow or something. So, with all that being said, we'll catch y'all next week.
Next week. Bye.